My friends Krystal and Annie are here with me today because, first of all, we wanted to have a girls' night, but we also have been obsessed with the Lori Vallow case.
Mhm.
And I can't promise that this is gonna be full of facts, but I can promise you you're gonna get some interesting perspectives on what we think is happening. My friend Krystal, say hi.
Hi, I'm Krystal.
And this is Annie, everybody, and you know her from the podcast. We had her on before, but Annie and I talk all the time, and she was saying that Krystal also is obsessed with this Lori Vallow case. And I'm super into true crime. Like, are you guys into true crime in general? Krystal, are you? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like, literally all I watch. I mean, I've gotten better over the years because the more I've, matured, sometimes.
I was going to say we have to have a life.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to pick that shit up. But when I've been into it for years, literally, my family's like, "You're crazy." You know what I mean? Because I'll be so into it. But
Mark tells me all the time, he's like,
I'm little. I was like young. It's like let me tell you what even turned me onto it was, and I think my mom got me this book, so she really can't complain. But it was like, this was high school, and I got a book about the Zodiac killer, and that sparked it off for me. Like that's kind of like one of the first things I remember. I mean, I've always read mysteries and things because I'm really into that.
Yeah, me too.
And I love Stephen King, all that. But like then true crime, after I read that Zodiac, it was just so crazy,
I'm curious.
Find them.
What is it for you? Like, because I know so I had to finally explain myself, especially to my boyfriend, who now we live together. And when he sees how much murder shit I watch, he's definitely like, he's getting scared. What is your story? So I had to finally think about what it is for me that I love about it. I'm curious, what is it for you? Is it just for instance, some people love blood and guts. Some people love the psychological part of it. Some people just like to scare themselves. Like, what is it in particular that draws you to it, do you think?
I would say it is more the psychological aspect. It's also the fact that it's a mystery, it's a puzzle, it's something to solve, because I'm very into that, right? Like, I'm into puzzles of all kinds. I do puzzles every night. So mysteries, and then this true crime, the psychological aspect is just crazy, because some of this shit, like we're about to talk about, people are crazy. You know what I mean? I remember
and I think found out. If it sounds like it's like me too, where I actually enjoy trying to figure out what makes somebody tick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why they're doing the things that they're doing. And actually the humanity of all of it, how there is a little bit of us in all of these crazy people, right? Like,
absolutely.
You can totally see yourself becoming, falling in love with somebody, or joining a religion, or like, right? Well, so Annie, are you, so you were saying joining a cult, but like, you know what it's like. It's like we lived in Los Angeles. Annie and I lived in you know how easy it is to become a joiner, right? In LA, because there's so many.
Yeah, I joined some networking groups, which is mini below the cult, like a step cult.
Only one step.
Mini below.
Only one step. But I am interested in the landscape of their childhood, because it's usually something went awry, generally, but not always.
Right.
But back to cults. Yeah, cults are fascinating to me, because I'm like, especially with this one, which we'll talk about, but I was like, there are so many red flags, and just being a follower in that way.
Right. But and this is what I think is sort of striking me the most about this story, because here's the thing. We're going to have a lot of laughs about some of the shit that we hear on this next thing that we're going to watch together. But at the end of the day, the humanity of just knowing that when you're in a vulnerable place and you're looking for meaning in life, because life can be super overwhelming and super confusing, and you can feel really kind of bewildered by, big giant questions, that we all face, especially if you're a sensitive feeling person, which this Lori Vallow seemed to be. You're also sort of, she's already religious, quote unquote. But a woman of faith. So her mind is already expanded to the level where it's like, she believes in God. She believes in the powers of
Yeah.
So but when does it become a time when suddenly you find yourself obsessed with maybe a man, and suddenly looking for a guru, and wanting a place to, wanting to feel powerful and in control in a world where none of us really feel powerful and in control, right? And then suddenly you find yourself in this situation, but when do you kill your kids? Like, at what point
that's
does that
Absolutely.
become a thing?
and that's where I'm like, that's where I'm like, the devil lives among us. Like, the devil that looks like an angel.
Yep.
I mean, it's really scary. And that's the really dark part that they talk about it, right in the Bible and stuff. And that's I'm having a hard time. I don't have children, but just to understand why you would kill your children.
Well, I mean, it just shows, right? We're capable of anything, right? Anybody is capable of anything. And that's something that because you're this or because you're that, you're not going to do a certain thing. Well, guess what? How many times has that been proven wrong? And this is another case. It's absolutely insane. It has all these other elements that are a little completely off the wall. But at the end of the day, the reasoning and like even what you're saying, Cassidy, about how, those people were targeted, right? There's something that they showed. There was some type of crack or something that somebody's able to go ahead and just attach to. And then that person next to they're running around doing whatever it is that you want them to do, right? Like they're easily manipulated for whatever the reasons are. They range. We can't say like, oh, this is why, but we could guess, which is always fun, This is
what we're going to do. We're going to guess and we're going to comment a lot on this shit. But and to that point, Krystal, it's like, it also has occurred to me the kind of personalities that become these gurus and that realize the kind of charismatic power that they have over people, and that this quality is something that many people possess.
Right.
But, there is that, I think, knowingness when you're a charismatic person that you can control people. And I think some of us maybe do it maybe in our relationships, but then some of us do it on a level that's just like destructive. And you end up with these people who will believe every single thing that you say and live and die by this, whatever it is, whether it's a doctrine or whether even it's just your control within a family, like whatever those things are. But like, it's a pretty profound thing. So this woman in this interview is Lori Vallow's friend, who in Lori Vallow's life, and I think it's probably because at some point in her life, she clearly put people in good favor. People obviously loved her at some point in her life where they didn't feel like they wanted to turn on her, right? So this says something about her. Something changed in her for sure, because she had a lot of people protecting her, and people were unwilling to come forward.
They're shocked, right?
This woman in this interview is coming forward.
Yeah.
And she was in hiding. This was a friend of Lori Vallow's. Her name is Melanie
Gibbs.
Can you believe I did that? Yeah, Gibbs. Thank you.
No,
and
it's not Agent Gibb. It's not Agent Gibb's relative. LOL.
No, or Barry. No relation to Barry Gibb.
Yeah, exactly. I'm making an NCIS joke, but Barry better. Gets better.
So she decides to finally sit down to do this very kind of local news like interview, right? And she spills the tea in
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
I was sipping that shit up, girl. I was like, this heifer is.
I had to rewind it, and
girl, do you know? I told Ann, I said, Ann, you don't even know how many times I had to go back.
I know.
And the thing that's so great about this woman, and we're gonna play it right after I say this, though, is that she's so believable, and she looks like an angel. So, like, right. The lighting's amazing. It's all natural lighting.
Yeah, because I was like, she's the golden light.
Oh no, she's in that beautiful 5 p.m.
Yes, exactly.
Sunlight, honey, in the summer.
Okay.
It's the golden hour, right?
The golden hour, girl.
She looks gorgeous, and the way that she tells this story is just like. This is what happened. And okay, so we're going to put it on. So Adam,
it had me all over. I just want to say it had me ranging from like all over the feelings.
Cheers, you guys. It's happy hour.
Yay. Happy hour.
And we're going to watch this and comment as we go. We can't probably play the video in the final product, but you'll be able to hear the audio. And we're going to pause at certain points. You can feel free to talk over it too. I'm just like... We've been texting and we've been saying we have to watch this thing together, and I just thought we need to share it. So Adam, let's start the video.
I've been waiting 5 months to talk to you.
Okay, first of all, what I would like to say is this guy is definitely cutting his own hair in the quarantine.
This is why I love Cassidy. Like in it for 2 girl, like it barely was like 1 second.
But you know what? He needs a promotion. Very good interviewer.
Yeah,
He
really
was very good.
He is, but yeah, I thought it was plugs right away. But anyway,
She is so pretty, though. Can we just talk about how pretty she is?
yeah, she looks good though. Like Anne was saying, she pointed out to me. I was so appalled by the wording, but
She's just
great.
like, you know what? She says this in the beginning. She's like, I got God on my side. I actually believe her. Look at his hair. He's definitely cutting his hair, his own hair in the quarantine.
Yeah.
I think now for the set we got a haircut.
It's all one length. He has the one setting on that buzzer.
I thought plugs. So when I saw
That's true. It looks like a little bit of a hair farm.
Yeah. I mean, perfectly fine to me. Hey, do it, boo. You're gonna have a valiant hair in a minute.
I'm feeling that color on her for sure. Good choice.
They did well. They did.
So at this point, it's fair to note at this point, the kids have not been found yet. The kids have since been found.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was pre that, but it was minutes before. I mean, she just did this last week.
Just FYI though, I see a light in her eyes, which means they have a light on her.
They have a lighting thing going.
There's a white light in her eye, which
They might have one of those
coming from her right side.
white bouncy board
I can
thingies.
see the
or
white
whatever.
light. Yeah, they got some nice warm light on her. But God bless. But go ahead. Sorry, I was like,
She does. She looks so pretty in this thing, honey. And it's like,
really natural too.
and you know, she'll never regret doing it for that reason alone.
Yeah. Like I can look good. I don't care what any of you say.
She might have written in the contract, I need warm lighting. I need to feel comfortable. I need to look like an angel.
Should we talk about first, and I didn't even do this, who the fuck Lori Vallow is for, like, if anybody just even Googled this, sorry. Lori Vallow's kids were missing. She is a very, very, very attractive sort of, you know, housewife from the Midwest. She was living in Arizona, but she ended up in Idaho, right?
Idaho.
Idaho. Yeah.
She was in Arizona, but she was like, you know, she was attractive and she had 2 children. One was adopted. And basically, long story short, she takes up with this end of days sort of cult leader, book writer, novelist named Chad Daybell. Now, some people say Daybell and some people say Daybell.
Right.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel both ways. I feel like Daybell is probably Southern feeling, and then Daybell is how you'd say it if you were from New York. So,
Daybell.
I say Daybell.
Okay. So Chad Daybell is this sort of end of days novelist. Long story short, she's a Mormon. Her friend's a Mormon. They're all Mormons, and they go to the temple. But they're starting to kind of peel off and do this like fringe kind of culty thing.
Little subgroup. Which they have a lot of the Mormons, you know. They have a lot
totally
of
do. But you're not
really
talk about them, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So long story short, the kids go missing, and forever she won't say where they are. She's now taken up with Chad Daybell, and everybody dies. Everybody,
seriously,
and everybody dies basically. Like they get together, and everybody dies.
Yes. How is that? What is it? I'm like, how is everybody popping off at flies and it's just happening? Like,
they killed.
Ain't no one saying a damn thing at all.
Killed everybody, and
they killed everybody, girl. They killed everybody.
They just did it. Like, in other words, it took so long to put Lori Vallow in jail, and Daybell stayed out of jail the whole time. He just got put in. So the two of them, I don't know, they must have some kind of connection with the divine, honey, because they stayed.
Thank you. That's what I said. What I said. They have to, because how are you running around like that?
Yes.
How are you just now even digging that up? I'm not buying the hard ass ground. I'm not buying that.
No, I know.
So they were absconded for 6 months away, basically. And that man's been out of jail that whole time.
Anything.
And you think she turned him in, right? I
do. Yeah. I do. So let me tell you guys, let me just stop right here and let me tell you what I found, what I heard today. This is again, you know, assumption, but I've heard this. It's going around. So it's not even confirmed, but it's going around that someone saw, Lori Vallow was seen with a baseball hat, like incognito honey, with the cops pointing out where they were buried.
You and I, okay, so
Not even lying, dude. I just heard that today. That's
you
not,
and
that,
I
you know
are,
what I mean?
we are equally
going around.
obsessed. Yep, we are equally obsessed because I
Yeah.
just found that out today, and that proves it. Because you're right, that is a
Yeah.
deep rumor. That's only people who are like digging.
Yeah.
Heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, girl. I was like, what?
What'd you say, Annie?
They took her out of jail to be like, show us.
Remember we were talking about that, Dan?
and I think that she ultimately was the one who even sent them over there to begin with.
I think she was. She was the one. Remember we were talking about that. And I said she had to rat it out because at the end of the day, you know, this man is good. He's good.
He got her. He got her good.
That I've ever seen. Good. Like, he is good.
And
you know
she's
what I mean?
obvious. She's not the brightest bulb. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, she's so wrapped up into that. Like she's got that victim type of mentality. She's easily malleable. You know what I mean? He can do whatever the hell. He finally got somebody to drink that tea for real for him.
For real.
You know what I mean? Everybody else was kind of like getting skeptical at the end of the day. Like, wait a minute.
I know, and she fell hook, line, and sinker, and it was such an
looking for it. She was,
and it was an ego stroke for him too, because she was so pretty,
so pretty, and they idolized this man. Like he was idolized, like
because he's not much to look at. That's right, Annie. Right? No,
and
totally.
I mean,
and I'm like,
his personality. Look, if somebody says I have a portal in your closet, and I know I'm married a few times,
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Spoiled it.
Girl, no, yeah.
I'm just saying it gets so crazy, and this is what I've been trying. It gets
so crazy.
I had one
all right,
question.
we're gonna keep going. Adam, put it back on. Let's put it back on, Adam.
I have a question when we get there.
And is that your goal in talking today?
My goal is to speak to the things that have gone on, and also to speak to many that believe their story of some of the things we're going to talk about zombies, to being a part of the 144,000, to multiple probations.
Zombies.
These things do need to be discussed.
All right, let's pause here for a second, because this is what I'm saying. This interview with her is
so
good that you can't even get through the whole thing. So what are you saying, Annie?
So I had this revelation today, whatever word they use, no, LOL. But the zombie, when she's saying her child is like a zombie, like, no, you're the zombie.
Oh,
right. You're the zombie following this man. No offense, this lovely lady, but a lot of you are zombies. You're followers. You're not even like registering what this man is saying.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's an excellent point, Anne. Excellent point.
It infuriates me. So. And then,
and the thing that like strikes me too when you say that is that, a lot of these cults are not even that clever in the sense that zombies, do you know what I'm saying? Or
but the thing is, they don't have to be, right? Look at all those followers they got.
People believe shit.
Believe in that stuff. What is wrong with you? What is absolutely missing?
To the point where she thought her ex-husband was a zombie, and she thought that her children were zombies.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah.
Well, he was. It's like he's in here. Okay.
Crazy. Okay.
And the thing that's so sad though too is that the little boy was autistic.
I know.
So that's what is so heartbreaking. And then the girl, she was in high school about to get her GED.
Well, supposedly she had gotten already. She's supposed to be in college at BYU.
Yeah.
That's what the story was when they kept saying.
Leave. Like, why did you have to kill her? She was going to go live her life.
Well, also they said that this girl was a fighter. So I'm thinking this girl was not dealing with the bullshit.
I think that she was probably being super defiant. And you know what else? You know what else I thought?
Like a 17-year-old, 18-year-old who thinks this.
And that Chad is too much of a fucking narcissist to have an autistic child.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it right there. Because you have to pay. You have to give your life to the child autistic.
Exactly. And then, let me tell you, to the zombie point, you guys. So I took a little screenshot because they're throwing this word zombie. We all have what an inclination of what a zombie is, right? And what it looked like. We got pieces falling off people. And no. So what I did was I was like, okay, well, what are they meaning? What is a zombie to them? Like, what exactly is going on? So apparently, I took a snapshot so I could just read this, and it said, these zombies, they are human bodies that have had their original spirits forced from them and have been possessed by either a demon, which is original third of the heavenly host who follow Lucifer, disembodied spirits, once living human spirits who have chosen not to be reborn into another probation, which is another life for them, or a worm/slug, which is a creature controlled by Lucifer that enters the body to control the host. So the zombies,
That is-
them, you know, all equally.
It's like a possession.
Well, kind of
It's
the
like
last
a
one's absolutely
possession.
ridiculous, but you can, like, the way they're saying, so many people and so many religions believe
Oh yeah.
that spirits can come and they change possession, right? Like,
Without a doubt. Without a
right?
doubt.
So
But
they're calling it zombie.
Right.
the thing,
Like,
yeah, it's the
it's
thing.
for-
The thing is that you know, so she goes on to speak, and we'll start the thing again, but she goes on pretty early on to talk about how almost immediately when he met her, he started talking about other lives and how they were married multiple times before, and that he believed that they were married multiple times before. And it's to that point too, this like, there are a lot of religions who believe in rebirth, dying and being born again, reincarnation.
Yep.
And it's like a lot of these sort of belief systems are always derivatives of other belief systems, right? And they're always sort of coming from, but I think what kind of blows my mind the most about all of it is how much people need something to believe in.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right, Cassie. Absolutely.
You know?
I think that's really
That's it.
at the end point of, like, the whole point of a cult, right? Or, like, how they could even be created.
Vulnerable. They prey on vulnerable people.
That's
Yeah,
right,
and
because
it's
everybody's
open.
looking for something, regardless of if it's an evil belief or a good belief or whatever. You know, it's a subjective thing. But you're right. At the end of the day, we're all looking for something, right? It's tangible in a way that for us, right? We're gonna keep moving through the day. We have something tangible to fall back on if we get lost, or I have, you know, this is my structure.
Because I would be lying if I said I'm a person of faith. You know, I am, and I was raised that way.
That's right.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
we were.
and also have always been somebody who was never super dogmatic about the way you view whatever that higher being or power is for you. Like, I've never been like, well, it has to be Jesus, or it has to be Buddha, or it has to be Muhammad. Like, it just, for me, I've always kind of, or it just, even if you just believe in the higher energy of the universe,
Right.
whatever those things are,
Yeah.
there is no right or wrong way.
Right.
And I think what's sad about it is that there is this sort of beautiful idea that we can put our faith in something greater than ourselves, and that we can believe in sort of the power of the universe, if it's a God, or if it's just that, you know, that if you live a good life and you're a good person, and karma and all of those things, that they come back, and that when you die, you know, maybe you're with your family in heaven, or maybe you're reincarnated, but it's like, it's loose. All of that is beautiful. I think the thing that starts to get like crazy is how two things. One, how so many people feel like they need to force their beliefs on other people. And then two, how the people that become teachers of these things, how they can pervert it in a way and try to become gods themselves.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a narcissistic trait.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
All of them,
and
Jim
that
Jones,
ruins it.
all of them.
Well,
Charles
you're
Manson.
a psychopath.
You know what I was thinking about
that?
but you know what I was thinking about Krystal? I went and looked at the gym. Hopefully you're going to think this is funny. I do. I was looking at the Jim Jones thing, and I was like,
hello,
black people don't join cults, man.
girl.
Don't, man. It's all white people joining cults. What is that?
You have to
Also,
be wondering,
serial
like,
killers, you know, saying
well,
by people.
to your point, like, the thing is, when you get in a specific demographic, right, which is what Jim Jones did. He got a specific demographic.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing, because
is it that you can't manipulate people of color?
Be a leader and listen to them, and that's what he spit to them.
Right, but I'm saying, like, do you think it's because it's harder to manipulate the African American community? Like, that maybe they're a little bit more like,
any
fuck
harder
you?
than anybody else, girl. It's not. It's just you have to be well, in my estimation, you know, everybody is a human being. I don't think it's maybe certain things, you know, culturally we may.
Because culturally, that's all I'm talking about. Because I just think it's an interesting thing that it's white people that are like joining weird cults and putting on shaving their heads and putting on Adidas and like drinking the fucking Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
like,
shit.
You know what I mean? It's always like white people. It's always these like stupid, like they all come from like Greenwich.
There was a couple.
They all come from Greenwich, and they're like,
more.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? It's everybody, but you know, to what you were saying before, everybody is the same. We're all looking for something, and it's where you are, like what and what you've been exposed to.
What the influences are in your community.
Your influences are, you know, and then how smooth and how good is this is the cult leader? Because that's, I mean, look at this man. He got all those people up in went to Guyana of all places. I mean, it was crazy. And I look at it and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, what were you missing that much that you gave up all your money? You turned all your money over to this man with some fucked up shades and let him lead you to Guyana and drink some fucked up Kool-Aid. And now look. And when a couple of you wanted to escape, he murdering folks.
Right, because I can almost understand like wanting, sometimes I think about this too, like, you know, having a utopian society where you go off and you build your own society with a bunch of like-minded people and you guys like grow your own food and help out, like that beautiful like commune.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
ideal, right? Like I can see why somebody might be attracted to something like that, but at what point do you drink the poison? At what point do you kill your kids?
You hear me? And the thing is, like so many of them were starting to be like, what? You know what I mean? Like what? And then probably so much more than we even know try to probably flee from there. And he was like, that control was such a thing because, and to your point, that narcissism, that is inbred, like that's so deep. That's all that matters, right? Like this person is on, like they're winning at the end of the day. They're going to win.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like,
it's fuck it if everybody dies,
narcissism,
but I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Narcissism, what?
Comes from insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel deeply bad about yourself and therefore you have to be a showman or showwoman in another area.
And it becomes toxic in the sense that like you know, it's a very selfish, but it also, you use people when you're a narcissist too. You use them.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. That's the whole
and you manipulate them.
Everybody. Like they don't know how to, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know how, which is, you know, like that's why this man, he, you know, and most of them, they don't care about anybody but themselves, which is why I'm like, you're a psychopath, because at least a sociopath, they have a little bit of, you know what I mean? They know what it is to be able to fake some shit. Some of these people, they just don't at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I got a good example, but I want to bring that up because that's a whole nother fucking something. But you know what I mean? Like
that's another episode.
Yeah.
That's another
a good goddamn about anybody else but themselves and what it is they want to get out of the situation that they're in, or they're going to put somebody in, and they're always thinking ahead. Like this Daybell dude, he's been doing this shit, y'all, for decades. Like,
you're right though, when you said that thing where like he finally found you said it was pretty profound, I thought. He finally found the person to really drink that tea, man. And
he left another town. If you look at this interview I was watching,
did he?
He was like a book publisher for a while, and then he left another town and moved here. He's been moving around.
Yeah, girl, he's been doing it, and you know what, you guys? I also heard today, again, quiet as you know, just out there. He is being looked at for some other disappearance.
No,
right? Some chick called Kipling Brown or Kipling something.
Oh no!
So this fool, you guys, you know what I mean? Who knows what's going to come up?
Oh, I bet
and then you got a lawyer who's been arrested, who is a rapist.
Oh my God!
And got out with
so dark.
It is. Yeah, you're just running with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, let's watch more though, because I want to talk. She moves into right after this. She starts talking about how they all met and when they started the affair, and I want to get into that. So let's watch a few minutes of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a lot of perspective on that.
Would it be fair to say you know Chad and Lori better than anybody?
Probably.
And you know their beliefs.
Yep.
You know their activities. You know more about this story probably than anybody else other than them.
Yeah, I think so.
You told me the other day on the phone that someone told you needed to get an attorney. And what was your response when they said,
hey, Adam, let's bring the video up to about 2.5 minutes.
That someone.
And at a camp.
This is how she met Chad
I
for the
think.
first time,
Somewhere in
and
that
she
area.
gets into
In
how
northern
they
Utah.
all
Northern
kind of got
Utah.
to know
Were
each
you
other.
impressed by what he had said there at the conference? Is that why you wanted to talk to him, or was it just a casual?
So he was doing
Good
these
job.
like Hilton
I wanted to meet him because
conference
I thought he was
room,
super interesting.
Yeah.
he was doing these like Sheraton Hotel
Yeah.
Mhm.
author, people
Author,
would pay to
yeah.
come see him, and he would talk about his end of days books, right? But he wasn't
He had a
quite
huge
like,
following, though, you guys.
but he did, and it was interesting
Yeah.
too, is that this kind of thing that he was doing, which was like one step above, where it was like he was the Messiah, that was something he was doing in people's ears. He wasn't necessarily talking, right? Like it was
Yeah.
it was fringe, but it wasn't kind of this stuff. So okay, we're gonna keep going.
Okay.
So, and when I met him, I thought he was a really nice guy. And anytime I saw him was at an event.
At what point did you become closer than just seeing him at events or hearing him speak?
So when Lori and him met, that's when I started to get to know him a little bit more.
Tell me how you met Lori.
So I was teaching a class at church one evening, and she was there, and
She's
she
just a
introduced
church
herself to me.
teacher, right?
And
I
what
mean,
was
that
that
is what
encounter
this woman
like?
told. Like
She-
it's like if you were to call Central Casting and go, I need a CCD
There you go,
teacher.
yeah.
This woman would show up for this. This woman would
Be
show
like,
up.
here I am.
So very naive or sweet. That's the
Just
Yeah.
so nice. Like you'd leave your kids with her, man, and you wouldn't even
Yeah.
like question
The
it.
more I don't know, you guys, the more I
Yeah.
sit on it
Every
before, when
month.
I was so skeptical, right? Like, ask Ann, I was like, this,
Yeah.
like, I just couldn't believe. But I mean, I do think about it more, right? Like, because when I first looked at it, I was like, this, because I can't believe anybody will believe
Right.
it.
Well,
And I can't believe
she
anybody
doesn't.
would
She,
say it.
I can see it. I can see why you would think that. Listen, it's very easy to flip this interview and think you're an asshole. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
the concerning
You let
part
this
is-
happen. How did you let
Yeah.
this happen?
That's
Because I was
my
like, she should be arrested. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
had
no,
to
I
just
see.
fuck
I
up when
see
it's
that
right.
perspective. I see that
did.
perspective. Yeah.
Well, her and that niece, I do for sure.
I feel
Well,
like
then
she's gonna
the
come with a little bit because
Yeah.
she like heard this crazy talk from her friends. Like, why didn't she go to the authorities or
Well, she ended up right, huh? When they
But
tried
then
to throw
there's
her
like,
under the
but
bus.
then you wonder, right? Like, some people actually are too nice to do shit like that.
Well, that's what I was going over my head, like the assertiveness as women.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't, I
like we would do it. We'd be like,
yeah.
Right.
again, this,
Even-
did you say zombie? Okay, honey,
Right,
I need to make
exactly.
some
I'm
calls.
going
Like
right
this
there.
is not. This is.
I'm like, something ain't right. Her kids ain't safe because she's talking about zombies. We already know.
Yeah.
Nobody's got that shot from the military shooting up folks. They're about to do shit. And they keep telling me someone's about to die,
Yes, that's my whole point. And like,
which we haven't got to, but
and he was like, we'll get to it.
She.
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
we'll get there, but she literally said that the only way that she told this woman, the only way that Lori told this woman, Melanie, I should be clear in case people like Cassidy were talking about. Lori Vallow told this woman, Melanie, who were watching, that both of their spouses had to die in order for them to be together.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then they
That
said
they couldn't be divorced.
And
yeah,
what they,
they're going to pass away. That's also a red flag.
yeah.
He's like, oh,
Yeah.
And then started saying everybody knew she was going to pass away because we'd been talking about it. That's
Right.
Like, no,
I'm like, y'all, what's wrong with y'all? And then did nobody tell them they're going to pass away? What, you know what I mean? Could you tell me?
so
They-
weird.
no psychic will tell you you're going to die.
No, they
Bro,
won't.
someone came, look at you guys.
You know what I'm saying?
Someone came to be like, girl, Cassidy, and they about to die.
Yep.
Da-da-da. You better believe I'm going to be like, girl, I don't know what's going on, but this bitch said you're about to die.
But seriously, but here's the thing. Fine, maybe you don't say anything, but when the bitch dies, don't you make a call?
Yeah, exactly. And that was exactly, girl. And then you got 2 times over that and that's true. It's like, okay, well, you didn't say nothing before. Well, because
But
okay,
she's
it didn't
dead
happen.
now.
In both cases, it didn't happen when they said it was going to. So then
Yes.
I
So she's
excuse
like,
him after that, right? But the
Yeah.
first time, that's all it would have taken me. I'm like, girl, they say you dying.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't even if I don't know you, because again, and that our
We
frame of mind
would
is
be
not
making
like that.
we'd be making some anonymous calls. There's no
At
question.
least anonymous. I'm like, look, I still might be in my little cult, but look, girl, this is what they're saying. Because at the end of the day, this woman, I look at her, I don't know, I literally, I had her leading the shit, right? Like, I'm just like, I'm so dubious of her, because of like later on in the interview, how she is very strong in certain things, and then it's kind of like she comes back to be this docile individual, and I'm like, okay, there's a little bit of something more.
You're so deep. You're so right.
Listen, if I were a homicide detective, I had Krystal as my partner or as the forensic biologist, like Krystal. You know what I mean?
No, I'm serious, Krystal. That's so intuitive.
She's
and isn't it funny how you always want to like I put her through a certain lens, and I've kept her there. Like I didn't question the way that I was seeing her. But that's a very interesting point, because you know what? She did go into hiding. She was a part of it. I mean, and now she's trying to do this very charismatic thing for the camera.
They told her to get a lawyer. You know why? Because she's an accessory to murder.
Thank you.
Look at what my boyfriend just walked in the door with for me.
Is that chocolate?
It is chocolate cookies, and it's
my God.
Why we love
that is
it.
so awesome.
Oh my God, love you. Wish we could have
He just got in. Sorry, guys. But yeah, no, so you were saying, and I think my God, it's like, and you're right. Listen, for all we know, she was pulling the strings.
Girl, thank you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I kept saying. And I was like, and I mean, that's my initial feeling. I told Ann, I texted her, I was not even 2 minutes in. I said, this bitch is lying.
Oh,
yeah.
That was my Ann, was it not? Yeah. That was my, I went off on her.
All right. So wait, okay. So come with me on this for a second then, because here's the thing that's so interesting. At the very end of this, and we haven't even let people watch it because we can't stop talking about it.
I know. Oh my God.
So much.
It doesn't matter. Go find it on YouTube. You'll see what we're talking about. But if we don't watch the whole, even part of the whole thing. But here's the thing. At the very end, it's almost like she's giving a message.
I agree. Yes.
Yes.
She's telling her to turn him in.
Girl.
And then she does it. And then Lori did it.
Yeah. Come on. This woman is suspect. She's suspect.
A little love triangle.
This is the most amazing podcast I've done. Episode 10, honey. This is the best podcast I've done. You are so right. I think she is in love
with both of them. At some point, she was already enamored of
she was really in
Chad,
love
because they all were.
Yeah.
Because they were already in that thought process. And then when they met him, because you got to listen to when she's talking about meeting him, she's so contradictory in her statements. Now, I believe, how certain things happen, but what I don't believe is that she was not involved. I believe she was. Just from looking at this video and watching and listening to what she says and her nuances and her contradictory statements within it. And the certain things that she says in this thing. I'm like, this one, Lord, how are you going to refer to these kids' murder as sloppy work? What?
Listen,
I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's like if I was involved.
Did she say that? I missed that.
Yes. You fuck something up and then you're sloppy. She says it twice, you guys.
I know. I miss it too. Krystal caught it.
Twice. She says it.
Every nice lady.
And she gets kind of heated.
You are good at
watch her.
On the case.
Krystal, you're good at this.
I'm like, this bitch is it. She is like the one, like, you guys see a movie and at the end, like The Usual Suspects, and that fool started walking straight at the end of the story. I see this woman just sit there with the horns at the end. This one.
Detective Krystal Scruggs.
My hat is off.
My hat is I'm telling you. Now, sometimes people be like, Krystal, you're crazy.
On being plugged in, but that is genius.
Yeah.
Girl,
you're right. It's like she has, now that I'm thinking about it, she has a little bit of because I noticed it at the end. It was the only thing that I did say, boy, it really sounds like she's sending her a message. And then I made note of the fact that Lori actually did turn him in a week later. We hear about this excavation going on in his yard.
And she is all for Lori in this video, in this interview, y'all. She's all for her. She's all for her. She tries to even at the beginning, she's like, I know he even said, him pretty well. You're the one that knows him the most. How many times in this thing does she try to distance herself from that man? And she can't do it through the whole thing because she in the center. You can't tell me you got sent on errands to do. There's no way you didn't know. You knew him.
And also, every nice lady is a little naughty on the inside. So
exactly, girl. I told you that she wanted him.
Well, Annie's speaking from experience, though.
Are you a nice lady? Sometimes.
I guess.
God, I get
it depends on who you ask.
Other side
there you go.
Drives me crazy.
But
so because Lori, you can tell she's a brassy broad. Let's be frank about
Definitely.
it. Definitely. Broad, confident, shoulders back. this lady, I would say, is like now see a little nicer.
Exactly.
Some of it, but everyone has a darkness as well. And so something got tapped in. And I believe
she
but also I think she's a little in love with Lori.
Yeah, she was, and Melanie, and the niece.
No,
I think
I don't know this
the niece too.
Okay, there's another Melanie, and she's
Melanie.
You know what's funny
right?
too?
She married.
If you watch this whole interview, like from the perspective of
Lori.
She's in charge.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Girl, you got it.
Let's watch. All right, let's watch it with the headset of like, this is actually the boss.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Great.
Yeah. Let me know what you guys think.
All right. Let's watch it from here, Adam.
Very
Sorry.
excited to hear the things I was teaching. And so when I went out to the hallway, she came up to me and introduced herself. And she told me about a lot of personal experiences that she had that were spiritual in nature. And we just hit it off.
So from there, a friendship developed.
Yep.
And what was that relationship like?
Wow.
In the beginning, what was it like?
So
it's
we
like she
talked
fell
often
in
about
love.
our experiences that we had spiritually. And
wow, like the way that you would talk about when you
I went
first
to
met
Chad
someone.
and went to Lori, and she was
we
like,
talked a lot about the second coming as well, and how excited we are for the things that we've been studying and learning. And so just a lot of interest in that area. And we just talked about life and being a mom, and JJ being a handful, being autistic, and what that was like, and we just talked about our life.
Do you remember what year that was, Melanie, when you met her?
Yeah, that was 2018, about October.
October of 2018.
So you see that? Watch me ask about when you met Chad.
She was raising the kids.
Liar.
What was that? Say that again now.
She knows.
So they asked her.
When she tried to play it all casual, like she didn't remember.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I can, or was it before this? Or was it? I'm like, you are damn lying. You know the date and time you met that man. And you met him before you knew Lori. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. That's where they're all enamored of him, right? Because they idolize him.
Yeah, he's got this very strange hold on them.
Lori got her more wrapped up in it. And to your point, she loved Lori. And when they talk about Melanie, he asked her, how about Melanie? She loved her too. So those were her draw.
Like, you know how to, like, when there's two girls and you're both cute, but then you go to the guy that you kind of both like, and he pays attention to one and not the other, and it's like, it's like
he gonna choose.
I know
Lori.
I'm pretty. It's like I know I'm pretty, but like now Lori's maybe a little prettier, and like
she came after she met Lori. She already knew Chad.
She hooked him like
and then wait. So you know how he kept saying, because you talked about Cassidy. I know her as soon as he met Lori. Yeah, we knew each other before. We were together.
We were married before.
He spit that same shit to his wife Tammy that he murdered.
Oh, of course.
See, player.
He said the same thing. He told people, "Oh yeah, that's my soulmate. That's my soulmate. I was married. We were in lives before. We were married."
But you know what's so funny too is that when you look at no offense, God rest Tammy's soul, but like when you look at the two wives, it's always like that sort of trade up moment when like a guy like gets rich. Like there's the college girlfriend, and then there's the one after he made his millions.
Or whatever you want to call it. The second wife.
Yeah, the one that he could take around outside.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so Tammy was kind of like the wife that he could get while he was broke, and then when he had a little bit of fame, he like landed.
Put in all the work. Of course she did.
Of course she did. I feel sorry for those women. I'm gonna be one of those.
Girl, no, you're not.
So how'd she die? Like that? How'd she die? Like a needle in her toe, or what? Russian style. Sorry.
Well, yeah. That's racist. So
sorry,
she said Russian style. It was a joke.
Oh, needle in the toe.
Like you can't say that. I know what you mean, though. Had they kill her, her like heart attack. And Annie was saying heart attack that you don't know how somebody was there like a needle in her toe, like Russian.
Yeah, it was something, right?
I mean, I didn't.
They shot her up with.
Now what? Yeah,
I don't know.
Or like a poison.
It's mysterious, right? They just don't know how.
Or like the brother died mysteriously.
So the brother, Well, see, and it's the thing because everybody's like, the brother committed suicide. Okay, because that's what I was like. Oh, he committed because he was down for his sister. You guys, like he was all into the zombie Kool-Aid. Like he was believing that shit, which is why he shot the husband.
That's right.
Thinking the husband was the fucking zombie.
I know.
I don't know where they found these people. I just don't. Right, like. I don't know. And I don't know. I'm like, did he really believe that? But they would spit it, right? They would
To
say
your
all that.
point-
Let's bring it
from
to
the plot
let's bring it
in
to
his
4
lung.
minutes, Adam. To 4 minutes, and let's just start there.
And to your
Yeah.
point, I think
Meantime, this thing's an hour and a half.
I know, sorry. To your
Mhm.
point, I think a little dumb works. You know, for
Oh,
little
dumb is always helps.
you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
for vulnerable.
Yeah, he was probably more muscle, right? Not smart.
He wasn't
agree.
smart. She was the gregarious one, the pretty
Yeah.
cheerleader, and
Yeah.
he was the big dumb jock. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was all the brawn, and
Exactly.
somehow he managed
He was just
to.
super dedicated to that sister. I just don't understand.
Yeah. He just. I don't know. Listen, sometimes brothers are in love with their sisters. It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
True.
Exactly.
Happens.
It's a whole lot of
it's
little-
a thing.
It's a whole
It's
lot
like
of little Agatha Christie shit going on in this story,
Oh,
guys.
she's like,
it is so deep. All right, we're gonna watch from here.
Okay.
Often about our experiences that we had spiritually, and we talked about some of our trials that we've overcome, and we talked a lot about the second coming as well, and how excited we are for the things that we've been studying and learning, and so just a lot of interest in that area. And we just talked about life and being a mom, and JJ being a handful, being autistic, and what that was like, and we just talked about our life.
Do you remember what year that was, Melanie, when you met her?
Yeah, that was 2018, about October.
October of 2018. So you saw JJ, you saw Tylee, you knew that she was
Absolutely.
raising the kids.
Yeah.
And at what point did she meet Chad? Because you knew Chad and you knew Lori, but they were separate relationships.
Correct. So I met her first. Well, I mean, I met him, like within years, but didn't know him super close or anything like that. So then I meet her, and then her and I decided that we're going to go to an event in St. George, and so we drove down together. And then he was selling his books and speaking, and so that's when they got to meet. So that was probably October, November, somewhere in that time frame of the same year.
2018. So did you introduce them?
I don't know if I did or she just went up to the table. I can't recall.
And was there anything unusual or magical or different about when they met?
So we were there for 2 or 3 days, and I think he was there for 2 days, and she talked to him a lot about his books, and so she asked a lot of questions, and she was very interested in what he thought, and she was interested in what she knew, and so they just started talking about these different beliefs that generally are not something you learn in church. And so they started kind of developing.
She seems a little angry.
Connection right there.
And were you kind of
She's bitter,
interfering with
girl.
all
She's
of it?
bitter.
Yeah.
There, is there
She
something
seems
that
like
you-
you.
I
Telling
am
you.
going in and out, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly all the things they're saying.
Yeah, she seems like a woman scorned a little bit right there,
Yeah.
doesn't
A little
she?
bit. She was enamored with that Chad dude, right? She was closer to him than she's letting on.
And then,
before
so like
Lori
you said,
met him.
the pretty friend got
Exactly.
her.
Came and swooped him up like it always goes. It goes down, right?
And
Most of
then,
the time.
like, she goes on to say after this, because we're going to fast forward a little bit, but she goes on to say after this how, Chad and Lori started to sort of go off to the side a little bit and spend
Yes.
time together. And you can see she's talking about it, and you're so right. It's like so funny how when somebody just shines a light in a different direction, you can see everything
and then
so much
she
more
uses
clearly.
the lust word later.
Right,
A little
right.
bit of,
So she's throwing a little salt in that.
Yes.
But she pretend like she's trying to save her friend. She's fucking salting it, you guys.
She does.
That's what I get.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just
and
what I
she's
get.
doing this thing
Like
where
she's
it's
jealous.
like she's jealous, and she talks about how they have sex in the temple,
Mhm.
right?
Gives
And
her
that
all
Lori
the dirt.
and that they were doing these things that the church wouldn't have approved of, but that they were keeping it a secret, and they were both
Yeah.
still
And
married.
oh, aren't you worried? Aren't you worried?
Yeah.
But then they get
Out
into
of
this
here.
conversation about how the two of them have been married multiple times before,
Mhm.
and that they both believe this, and that both of them are married to other people, but that because they've been married so many times before, that their spouses, if they understood the legacy of these two, that they would understand, because of their beliefs as well. And that,
Right.
and then basically say they can't get a divorce because it's sort of their dharma, or depending on what religion you belong to, it's kind of their lot in life to
Mhm.
stay married to these two people, that they are not allowed to karmically, cosmically, because of whatever their trajectory is through all of these probations, which is what they call them, which is what they mean, they refer to as lives. Because of all of these probations, they're not allowed to get divorced. And the only way for them to be together is if the spouses die, and that one of them, Chad's wife, is going to die, and that she knows, and everybody knows, and we're all just kind of waiting for it to happen. And this was common knowledge.
Right.
That's what's crazy, man.
That's
like,
exactly.
My friends said that. Now I
Isn't that
heard
nuts?
I heard they're going to exhume her body. Is that correct?
You know what? I think so, because
there's an inquiry.
They never said anything, right? It was just, they didn't know. It was just mysteriously. I mean, I just think those poor kids, his kid, girl, I was like, I cannot with these stories.
Yeah, but they packed up their shit and moved right in when he got taken. They moved right in the house.
Well, that's what's so crazy.
Well, come on. At the end of the day,
the daughter's dragging her suitcase. She's like, well, somebody's got to stay in this house. I mean,
look.
Somebody's got to live here.
Somebody going to end up being in the cult. Let's not get it twisted. This little town is full of it. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys seen that movie. Yeah. This is some old ass movie, but the whole town.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
You know, Strange Invaders.
Oh, Strange Invaders. I'm thinking of a different one.
It's old school. And it was just like this crazy story. But the whole town ended up being actually these aliens or whatever, right? Kind of taking over, like zombies or whatever. But they were all in it. And you think everybody's like, even the cops, the judge, you know, everybody's in on it. Everybody's in on it.
All right, we're going to fast forward. Let's fast forward to about 8 minutes, Adam.
Excited about it.
How would you describe his and Lori's marriage?
There seemed to be some arguing.
So this is Lori's husband.
Yeah, so Charles, right?
So they're arguing in front of people.
Right.
She probably started.
Seemed like she was struggling to be happy by that. Like she seemed a little often frustrated with him. They had something going on that I didn't quite understand, but there seemed to be a lot of contention between the two of them.
Did you ever see him lose his temper or become irate or angry with Lori or the kids?
Nope.
Did you ever see her become upset or angry with Charles?
Like vocally, I could see her, being upset, and he was frustrated back, so he might have had a little bit of that stress in his voice when you argue.
Can we pause this right here for a second?
Arguing kind of a upset voice.
An upset voice. So here's the thing, right? I don't hate anything worse than a couple that'll fight in front of the company.
Yeah, right.
Tacky behavior. It's absolutely tacky.
Shit is the worst, dude. So she's like fighting. They're fighting in front of company.
Right. Yeah.
So what does that say about her? What kind of person is she that she'll do that?
Girl, she's looking it all up.
So
what is she doing? Looking for weaknesses.
She's looking for weaknesses, and also she's planning it. So when the brother comes to kill him, it's self-defense because he's so violent.
She's doing it in front of people so they know.
They know, exactly. So they can, exactly. Good point, Ann.
They do.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Alex shot him because self-defense or something. That's what they said to the police.
Yeah, all of it's orchestrated. Do you know what I mean? Every type of interaction.
But I'm trying to figure out, like, why is somebody fighting for? But she's already looking for an out. She's already looking for a way to get out of this thing. She doesn't. Done, and it's almost like she's like laying the alibi down in a way.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna go. Hang on one second.
I love your notes. That's good.
Yes,
right. 3 hours.
Girl, I do my notes. I take this so seriously.
This thing could be like 10 parts, Cassidy. I'm telling you.
Let's go to 13. Let's go to 13 minutes. This is where they say that they weren't allowed to divorce.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Was that a thought you ever expressed to Lori?
Well, I did actually offer the idea. I'm like, why don't you just go ahead and get a divorce? And they were told that they weren't allowed to.
They weren't allowed to?
Yeah.
Because of church teachings? Or
no, something that they received through the other side of the veil, how they would speak about it.
The other side of the veil.
And said, no, we're not allowed to do that.
So they received like a spiritual prompting or a revelation or
however he got his revelation.
However he got it. He said, don't get a divorce.
Right, he wasn't allowed to, actually.
Was not allowed to get a divorce.
That's correct.
You said that it wasn't a group or a cult, but Do you think it became that over time?
I guess it depends on what you believe those words mean. A lot of us don't understand what those words mean.
Laying
I would
dumb.
say
Mm.
it's
I feel.
teachings
Stop.
that you have the
A lot of
basic
us don't know
tenets
what
of the
that
gospel
means.
of Jesus Christ.
All
that we
right,
do
let's
as
pause it
Christians,
here.
right?
Feel like
So
And then you
full of
have
it,
this
half-assed answering.
understand what
Can't.
those words mean.
So there's only one more thing I just want to quickly watch. Let's go up to number 24 minutes. Yeah, this is fine.
In the temple to each other.
Oh,
And for those people that aren't familiar, couples will go to the temple and be married and sealed together, meaning they believe that their relationship will continue after this life ends. Did Chad and Lori talk about what they were doing in the temple together, which would be against church policy and procedure?
Right. Chad didn't tell me, but Lori did.
mhm.
What did she tell you?
And she just told me they went together and they felt that they were sealed by those on the other side of the veil that had the authority to do that.
So they were in the temple together
Right.
when this happened,
Right.
yet she's
That's
still
right.
married to Charles and he's still married to Tammy.
Correct.
And when you would raise this with them, that, hey, you're still married, what was their reaction, or at least Lori's, because I'm sure you never had a chance to talk to Chad
Right.
about it.
Hmm.
She said that it was okay
like
that
that.
they did this because they had been married so many times before that their spouses would understand someday.
Lori, from what I understand, said that she has been on 21 planets and Chad has been on 31. Have you heard that before?
I wouldn't say planets, but I would just say lives.
Lives. So she's
She
had
goes,
21 lives.
Choice of words.
And he's had 31.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's be didactic about it.
I mean,
Not
it just,
planets.
here's the thing, everybody.
Yeah.
It only gets fucking baddier from there. Like, it doesn't even at any point, it doesn't start to descend down
Right.
down
Yeah.
crazy mountain. It keeps going
Going,
up crazy mountain.
Bonkers.
And we haven't been hurt at all, y'all. We haven't even heard
No.
at all.
I mean, the
There's-
You
fact
know what I
that
mean? I can't even imagine what's coming next. I can't.
It's
Yeah.
I
coming.
can't.
So let's go to 30.
yes.
Just be a little before 30. Yeah, perfect.
So it was mainly religious talk when you'd all get together.
Yeah.
September of 2019, Lori moves to Rexburg.
Right.
Did you know she was going to move? Did she talk with you about this before?
Yep. Well, she didn't decide until, I think August maybe.
And how did she break the news to you?
Well, she said that first she thought Chad would come to be with her in Arizona. And then she
So
said,
let's pause this for a second. We
changed my plans. I think I'm supposed
what
to be up
I
there. He
wanted
says
to.
I'm supposed to be up there, but
I
I need-
must have had the wrong timestamp. But in between what we just watched and this, and the next thing I'm going to take us to, she talks about portals and
Yeah,
she
portal.
that Chad built a portal in her closet, right?
Yeah, this is what
In
I want to
his
do a
closet.
sketch on. I want to do a
Is
sketch
this like witches and wardrobes and
It's in his closet. And I know he wish he had a portal right now.
I wonder if he's got a portal.
Yeah. I'm like, why don't you create one right now?
My portal right now. in My
Get your ass
closet.
out of
Tell you
jail.
What I think, honey.
Girl. So
Where's the 144,000 when you need them?
Okay.
yeah.
Where's my tent? Let me get it.
Where are my builders? Okay, so he built it from he goes to in his closet, but he comes out of Lori's apparently.
So
That's
they
how it works.
Told me I have a portal in your closet.
In your closet.
I mean, seriously, I want you to imagine
Girl.
some guy being like, I'm going to come over and build a portal.
Oh.
I don't even
And
like it. when
there's
a guy's
nothing
like,
positive about a portal. That's a negative, evil
Yes,
thing.
portal.
Always.
Right,
Right.
The word. Yeah,
Always.
portal.
So that is another. I'm like, come on, portal boo, you should have been running. Portal, no, you're not just showing up in my closet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
At what point does the friend though call the cops? Like,
Girl,
this
she don't never until they try to throw her on the bus. That's the only,
Right.
that's the only
Because
reason
the
she ran to the cops because they were trying to get that bitch. She did something to them kids.
I mean,
That's the only reason.
they said the kids were with her.
Her,
Man.
yes, they did.
and that's
Yes,
what's
they
so
did.
sad is.
And
there's
here's what we
another-
don't know. They might
Uh-huh.
have been.
with her, right? I know. The whole thing when they asked her to, yeah, that's down the road.
Mhm.
I was gonna say is one interview, because I'm also watching the local Idaho news with the
you got the guy with the haircut.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
And the lady newscaster, she was wearing like flowing dresses.
Yeah, she had on the white
young girl,
the young girl. Yep,
this is her moment.
It is though. I was like, this is her like. I was thinking that too, Cassidy. I'm like, oh, look at her first vacation.
This is her moment. She's so excited.
Idaho to maybe New York or DC. I don't know, but
Listen, she's gonna get the call. Maybe Chicago.
Oh yeah, that girl's gonna be sitting on CNN. Right,
yeah. So they were saying, somebody was saying, the cops have heard all this before. Like, don't be afraid to tell us.
Yeah.
Like, it's call the police, call the authorities.
Right.
This went on too long. And that's where I'm like, she's not so.
I feel like by portal, there might have been a call somewhere anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying, girl, because that is absolutely now because you can explain the way they explain, even though it's ridiculous to us, but the way they explain zombie, I can see, because that's basically someone being possessed.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're talking about a portal that I'm gonna have to turn you in because that, no.
I don't start talking about how his wife. He can't divorce his wife, but she is gonna die. So don't worry.
I know exactly. That's another one.
I'm so upset with this that
she stayed out of jail for so long.
I know, and that's
BS. They kept saying, "Oh yeah, he's a zombie, or he's dark, right? So you're either dark or you're a zombie." Mm-hmm. The darkness. The young girl, Tylee, had the dark. She was a dark one.
But sometimes
Charles was dark and then turned into a zombie.
When a non-verbal autistic child sometimes can seem like they're having fits.
I know.
So you cannot for that.
So you can imagine they're justifying these things.
I know.
That's so terrible. Look at his mannerisms and what he's doing. I'm like, you're disgusting.
She adopted him at a young age. She was taking care of him. This all of a sudden, he's a zombie is bullshit. When she had an autistic child the whole time, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
and he was apparently, based on this interview, just based on what Melanie is saying, he was a handful.
Yeah.
They talk so bad about him, Cassidy. They talk so bad about him.
I know. No. I just, I think that people, listen, there are autistic children who are prone to sort of violent outbursts, and then
they're all over the spectrum,
who are more quiet, like really somewhere. They're all different, and I think that JJ may have been high energy.
Yeah, he seems like he was.
And I think I'll tell you, I think that Chad was probably like.
It was Chad. He didn't want to deal with that kid because Lori dealt with him till he was 7, and
I think Lori
loved that kid apparently.
That's right, and I think she understood what it was. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was him. He didn't, which makes me think the egregious body thing. I know that's like out of it, but I kept thinking, oh my God, he done did something to the girl. But what if he did? He just got.
I know because I heard that about the egregious thing. What do you think?
He hated that little boy.
What do you think?
He did hate that little boy.
They did when they said it.
I just feel
surprised they let her be chubby, the daughter.
Well, I saw that, and then I was like, but then she looked how thin she was though. Like later, she wasn't that big.
Not in the beginning. No, she looked like a puberty.
Yeah, but she was a lot bigger before
that. But then she got big. She was big at some point.
She was. And I thought that I could be wrong. I thought it was earlier that she was she was a little bit fluffier, and then. But I don't know what pictures are showing of her, though. You're right. I don't know what pictures.
And the only reason I say it, let me clarify, is not to shame her body at all. What I'm saying is the way that they were so controlling.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that was something that like she allowed, because you could see she was very vain and like there was.
But see, before she had got with this dude.
Yeah,
she wasn't apparently not that she lived and died for her children.
Yeah, and
so her baby was maybe been overweight, but that did not bother her. Right? Like, obviously.
You think that she was just under his influence?
I mean, and some maybe. And some of the stuff, I think that she just did what she wanted to do. But she evil too. I'm sorry. There's no way she's not.
I mean, everyone can have a schism in their brain, Yeah. You can have a schism.
Yeah. And for her to have been the complete opposite before.
Yeah.
She's obviously involved. Like, that's why so many people are like down on her, and people are going to be pissed because they're about to give her a deal. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, she gave up the kids.
She gave them up.
She gave up the kids.
See, that's what.
But honey, I will not
get a deal. That judge better say,
I will not rest until I know what happened.
Girl, yeah.
I won't either. She better, they know what happened.
She needs to go down. She shouldn't get a deal, period.
No.
I just read something, another case I'm into.
No, because
The judge was like, bullshit, because she thought they tried to give her a deal. He was,
no, she's maniacal.
Right.
She
And
would
you
do it
can do
again.
that. You could be like,
She would do it
listen,
again.
you can do the right thing.
She's dirty still. Let's not get it twisted, because there's only so much someone's going to lead you to do.
Right.
You going to leave me to kill my kids?
So check this out, because we're only going to do a couple more of these, and then we'll just like finish it out by talking about it some more. But let's go to about 30, just about 4 minutes ahead, Adam, about 34.
Thank you, Adam.
He's amazing. Adam is the best. He's so fun and
Adam
so
is
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
JJ was.
But Tylee was not.
Tylee was not.
September.
Where was she?
I was told she was at BYU.
Okay, so
BYU
this is when the
in
kids
Provo?
start going missing.
BYU
Yeah.
in Idaho. Would that have been a normal answer? Like a normal, okay, that makes sense type thing?
Well, I knew that Tylee had had her GED that she got when she was 16 or 17. I'm not sure exactly the age. And so it could have been plausible, but it didn't feel like it. There was definitely question marks. It was question marks for me. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel like the truth. I didn't know what to say about it. I wouldn't assume that she had done something to her, so it was kind of, I don't know. It was unusual.
But you didn't question her?
I didn't question it.
Was JJ with you on the walks?
No.
Where was he?
He was at home.
By himself?
His uncle was watching him.
Alex. Okay. So JJ's home with Alex, but there's no sign of Tylee.
Correct.
And how long did you stay with Lori? Was it for a week?
So Thursday to a Monday morning.
I'm assuming Tylee never called her. She never called Tylee.
She didn't even talk about her.
Never spoke about Tylee. Did she speak at all about JJ?
Yeah. I mean, he was all around us, and we were talking about him quite a bit, actually.
What did she say?
As I arrived on the Thursday, she had said that he had turned into a zombie the day before I got there.
Okay, pause it right
and
there.
She was pointing out behaviors of his.
Okay. I just don't even feel like, I feel like this is where you say goodnight, Irene.
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly.
I agree, Cassidy.
Yes,
I agree.
yes.
I do.
This is where, this
Nothing
is,
else to be said.
what
I
are you going
agree.
to say at this point now?
Yeah. I'm
This
gonna go ahead
is
and
where,
go to the,
this
to the
is
local,
where the bell rings.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's a zombie? Oh, he's acting hyper.
Girl.
He's autistic. What is your problem? Like, right away,
yeah.
call the police.
See, and that's my thing. Like, come
See,
on.
that's where she's an accessory.
Especially when
Exactly. Yeah.
she's serious.
Thank
She's
you.
dead serious.
Yes, she is though. Like, I just cannot. I can't reconcile it in my own head, and that's the issue, right? Where we have those judgmental aspects. You know, I have that judgment on her because I'm like, you're fucking retarded. But no, maybe this woman. Again, I think she's a little bit more, but she still has these. She's using these beliefs anyway. But this, like, when she starts talking about her doctrines and stuff, you guys, look how her behavior changes.
Yes.
She believes this stuff, honey.
Yeah, she
and
does.
She's speaking to her people right now, like she's like, don't you guys? You're not going nowhere. Like, this stuff is real. Maybe they took it and they did some bad things, but she's still living large in that fucking cult, dude. Like, and she's high up in it. That's my thought.
And
She's speaking to him. She's speaking to him, and she's the leader now because them motherfuckers are in jail.
Because at the end, she's like, she basically is like, I love these people. Like, at no point, right?
He was like, you're so kind with the love you speak.
Yeah.
She's more concerned about them not being able to be together than the fact that they murdered those kids.
So basically what happens,
I'm just concerned she's not, you know, they don't. Are you for real?
No, I know. So this is what basically happens. I encourage people to watch this interview, but she goes on to basically start to realize, like, the kids are missing, and Lori's husband is dead. Chad's wife is dead. Lori's brother is, dead. It's like, it's happening around her. This is the way she tells the story. And she realizes that the kids are not where Lori said they were going to be. And she finds this out because the police basically call her, and she just can't believe it. This is her accounting of it. She can't believe it and calls Lori, and Lori's like, you got to do me a favor. You got to tell the police that the kids are with you. And she's like, what?
Yeah, that's some ballsy move.
Well, that's when she was like,
she's like, I told the police the kids are with you. She's like,
Yeah.
Then why didn't she call the
and then
police?
for self-preservation, now she's going to tell the police.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
But she was
Now.
the scapegoat. Chad called her too.
Yes,
Before.
exactly.
Right, but don't you see what I'm
Right
saying?
before.
What I'm saying is that
Yeah.
she, instead of calling the police when it could have
Yeah.
protected everybody else, when it
Yep.
came down to protecting herself, then she was
That's
willing to
when.
sing like a
Exactly.
bird.
Yep.
That's
So
right.
this is I
That's
think
why.
yep, an age-old, I feel, philosophical quandary in the world. How involved do we want to get in somebody's business?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
technically a newer friend,
Yep.
right? You're enamored with new friend and other man,
Yeah.
Yep.
yet they're exhibiting weird behaviors. So you ignore it. This happens all the time.
Yeah,
I'm talking like
that's what it
American
sounds like.
society. I'm not going to
Yeah.
speak to like but I think it's probably in the world. But when you know something is fishy, you got to make the move. Who cares if you're wrong and they call you a
Yeah, exactly.
Who
Look,
cares?
sorry.
You said you
It just
was
didn't
a
sound
zombie,
right.
and he's talking to you in a portal. Call
Yeah.
the police. The
Yeah.
police will be like, I mean, I'm not a cop, but you know, what? I mean, they'll say it's bizarre. Let me follow up. At least she could have said, I told the police. I'm not saying, I don't know what they would have done about it. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like
Yeah.
the fact that she never raised the
Never
alarm.
did.
Yeah, this is a message to everybody. Like, if you're involved with somebody like this, all the
Yeah.
authorities.
But isn't it always
Right?
perspective? Because
And
we
they
make
think
so
it's
many
an idea.
excuses. It's like, you know,
Right.
listen, I went to Catholic school. And if
Yeah.
you think about it, I am
Oh, yeah.
and I said it earlier, I am a person of faith, but I no longer would identify as Catholic. And there's some beliefs in that particular religion that, you know, I don't question, but also I've come to realize are silly. You know, like there's just some things that like
Yeah.
can't be
Well,
real, that are stories.
Right. They put
You
into
know what I
place to make their point.
Stories.
Right?
Right. And that sometimes they're taken as literal, and I
From
don't
all religions. We all do that. They do
And
that.
we
That's
all
what
do it,
lifestyles
right?
are,
we all
right?
do it. We all do it.
Yeah.
Christians
do
do it. We all do
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Buddhists do it. Hindus do it. We all do it. But
That's
you know,
right.
and so we have stories that we try to sort of pass on the philosophy of the religion through the stories. And I think it's a
Yeah.
beautiful way to tell,
Yeah.
to teach lessons. And this is how we tell, you know, we tell stories to teach lessons. But
That's right.
the problem is people take things literally that are not meant to be literal. And so, but like, I think what's interesting with this whole thing is that essentially at the end of this interview, she basically sends a message to Lori in jail, period.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep. I
Period.
agree. I agree.
And Lori basically gets the message and turns in Chad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a week later, after this airs, the police are starting to conduct searches on Chad's property. And within probably another few days after that, they dig up the bodies of 2 children. And then after that, and I don't know if they've made the official identification yet. The grandparents are saying it's them.
No, they made official.
They said it.
Yeah,
they
feel
did.
that-
So because they were holding that back for a while.
Yeah, they officially finally did because
So-
everybody already knew, but they did.
Everybody knew, and all of the places were reporting it because I believe the grandparents had already gotten the call, and they started telling the news outlets that it was JJ.
I mean,
So
we all
it's-
know those babies were not alive.
So it's
You know what I mean?
horrible. It's terrible. There are stories of whether or not he burned them on the property. There are, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
accounts of that too. But in closing with this whole
Important
thing,
news.
I just wanted to sort of say, like, I wanted to almost like, first of all, I want to say this. God rest the souls of JJ and Tylee. I think that what happened to them is horrific, and that their mom was mentally ill. And, you know, I think that, you know, they're in a better place. And I think that, you know, no child should ever have to ever be, you know, hurt by the hands of the people they're supposed to trust the most, you know. So
Right.
it's, I pray for them and I pray for their families. So I just want to start by saying that, because that's the truth. We just found out, this is post this interview, even, that we just found out that it is them and that they were in the yard. But I want to make predictions for the 3 of us and what happens. How does this end? A little wager, if you will, right? Like just a little bit of like educated guess on Do we find out? Don't we find out? And if we do, if you ever find out the story, what do you think it's going to be just at this juncture based on what you're seeing? Annie, you go first.
I mean, I hope the grandparents, my heart goes out to them too. And I hope that they kind of pressure, Chad and Lori to be like, you need to tell what really happened.
Yeah.
This lady here, she's going to get away with it. I mean, not going to, I don't think she's not going to get any jail time or anything.
They're not questioning her at all.
I'm just saying that because I still think she's a little.
Oh, no. Yeah. She's going
to testify against
I think we're going to find out because I think Lori's in jail and she's going to work out a deal. She already told them.
But what do you think happened? If you were to say your theory of what happened.
So we haven't brought up Yosemite. And so I know they were really talking about, they took him to Yosemite and they might have thrown him in those hot freaking, you hear about that?
Yeah, but the thing is they found him on Chad's property. So
well, I don't think they were killed there.
No, they weren't killed there. I don't think they were killed there. I think they were buried there.
I think
they were killed different times.
Yeah, so
and then they weren't found. They were killed somewhere else and they were stored somewhere else.
Yeah.
Who killed them?
I feel like it's
Chad.
I
think they both killed them.
I feel like it's Chad and Lori.
Yeah,
they both did it together.
I kind of feel that. Or one or the other did. I think Chad definitely killed one of them. And I think he killed them both. I'm going to go back.
And
then Lori was the cleanup, honey. She had to make it go away, right? So
do you think that the bodies were moved to Chad's?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because his wife was still alive, you guys. She was alive for 3 more weeks. Living in that house. They weren't burying no bodies until after she died.
So they were storing the kids somewhere.
In a freezer.
Exactly. Well, remember they got that storage.
Yeah. The storage.
Remember? Where they put the wheel. So when they shot at the niece's husband who survived, thank you, Jesus, barely by like that much. Yeah. It was Alex. This again is my assumption. In the back of that Jeep that they always saw, the big tire was off, and the back seat was out, so he can lay down and shoot out the back of that Jeep. It did to Brandon, but it didn't kill him. The neighbors saw that Jeep and they were like, oh, well, you look at the storage video, you guys. The storage video. You first see Chad and Lori with that, rolling that big ass tire, bringing in a big ass car seat and storing it in there. Then like the next day, you see Lori and her brother. And Alex, he's like, to somebody, I think one of you said he was the big lug. He was picking up the stuff. He just pick it up.
Alex followed orders, and he did.
Yeah, exactly. He was a true zombie, like you were saying, Ann. But he was the weight. He did whatever. He did the orders. He was the hit man, you guys. He was the hit man. He killed Charles. He tried to kill Brandon. It didn't work. I don't know how they killed the lady. I think that Chad killed his wife. I don't know.
I think he put
I kind of got to get into.
You put a little poison in something and you go to sleep and you.
Yeah, he could have easily. That's why they're going to exhume her because they didn't test for anything like that.
I'm talking about those ways from killing Eve. That's where I was saying that.
But you think all of it just motivated by believing Chad's teachings?
No, it's for money.
Money.
You guys,
there was that much money?
No, it wasn't that much, but that was the whole point of it at the end of the day. See, they try this doomsday stuff. They might have a belief, but at the end of his whole thing was money. So, Charles, the ex-husband or the husband, right? I don't even know were they ex already? I don't know.
I don't know.
There was an insurance claim on him. Lori was the recipient of it. Yes. Well, she was like, oh, I think that, I don't know if it's still, under me, whatever. They still killed him. It turned out she was not the recipient.
Yes.
It was her kids.
Yeah, so then she had to kill the kids.
Hello. Chad was like, bullshitski. His wife is dead for her insurance money.
So
how much was it?
Money. I don't know. I don't even know how much it was. But
well, you know, she was getting like $6,000 a month just from Social Security. For
exactly. Exactly. So all of that. And he gets whatever, certain things and certain money. And don't think he didn't have. I think it was pretty large though. Let me think. But I don't want to put that out there because I can't say for sure. Like
I don't know either.
I really hear it was $1 million. But I think it's very basic. I don't think that there's anything. The doomsday Cole is a great mask for his manipulation for getting.
But really, at the end of the day, like he didn't want to have to give his wife half of everything and pay alimony.
They didn't, exactly.
Yeah.
So
He got 5 kids. That fool wouldn't have no money.
Right.
Krystal's point.
That's my belief, you guys. Money is at the end. It's the root of
money
all
is the root of all evil.
Isn't it disgusting to think about that money?
Those kids got money from their daddy, and now they're dead. That goes to their mama.
So Chad, to your point, Krystal, about the money thing, there's another interview with another employee, Jessica. Watch it. It's 30 minutes and her face is
Girl, I watched that. That was a trip.
He's been collecting money for a long time from these followers with the 140,000 people, the tent cities. Yeah. This lady admits that they had to cash out their 401k.
Yes, girl. Yes, indeed.
Give it to Chad, right?
It told you that's all it is. You guys.
He's looking for victims all along the way.
Oh my God.
Lori happens to be the last one. He probably said a woman with this husband.
So he's been scamming women all along.
Oh yeah, girl. That's what I'm telling you. For decades. And that's his job.
He asked in this interview about men and women. Like he kind of subtly hints at the men and women in this interview. Like, was he only friendly with women or men? And she says, well, both men and women. So he may have been also scamming some men.
He was scamming men. He was scamming that girl's boss, right? The girl's boss. Also, you guys, he scammed this authoress. He stole the rights to her book, honey. So she didn't get shit. He gave her $400.
So he's the puppet master?
He's the puppet master. And
not her, not this Melanie chick?
And Melanie,
I think she's part of it.
She's part of it. She's involved, but she's a soldier, right? But Melanie's a little bit smarter than everybody else. So you don't get it twisted, that gullible shit. Don't sleep on her. She's now leading it. Now, I don't know if she's going to go ahead and do some dirty shit like they did, but please go back and find, it's toward the end, find out when she started talking about like when JJ went missing. And then she's like, oh, the drop pit. Watch after that. She will reference twice how sloppy the work was.
So that
when those kids were murdered. Sloppy work. That told me a whole lot. To me, that spoke like
she said sloppy work.
Girl, she said the work. She said sloppy work twice. Yes. The death of the death of those children, and she won't barely. They don't even say it right. Like it's murder. The murder of those children, basically. Yeah. Sloppy work. I guarantee you, that's what she says it twice. Because my mouth fell open.
And don't forget, bones tell a story, not to be gruesome, but they'll know kind of what happened to the children as well.
Well, they said that one of them, JJ, they believed, was buried in an egregious way, is how they put it, which is really kind of
so awful. I think JJ was burnt was really fucked up because Chad was not trying to deal with him, but probably did something. But I think he might have been burnt.
Really?
That's what I think.
Yeah, there are neighbors, you guys, I don't know.
But there are neighbors that are reporting that there were big old bonfires on his property.
Like you didn't know shit about that. You just now come in.
See, that's the whole thing too. Like,
I know.
Oh, the one neighbor was like, they kept it. This is a big, again, an American thing where they go, they kept to themselves.
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? That's what you look out for nowadays. People keep to themselves.
I know. They kept
I'm telling you, this woman now, she gave us some good stuff, right? She gave us the outline. She gave us, but there's so many things she doesn't say. She is deep in it. She cannot say a whole lot of shit because then the cops gonna be like, but she's already done. She's got immunity. She's gonna be testifying against them in court.
Yeah.
I think that unfortunately, unless the judge shocks us all, she's getting a deal. He's going down.
Yes, somebody's
he's done some other shit. He's going down for sure. He's the target. Even though
here's the thing about him, though.
She'll get live for sure.
He's so quiet.
He'll get death. Idaho has death, y'all. She's not gonna get death, but he will.
You think he'll ever talk? I mean,
he planted the yard. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, babe. No, you were talking first. Go ahead.
I was wondering if Lori actually, because she is kind of devious, if she actually buried the bodies in his yard to frame his ass.
Sometimes, because what is he saying now? He says not guilty for tampering with the bodies and helping be accessory. So remember when we were talking, I said, well, it could be that he's playing the role right now, and he told them. But then I started hearing about Cassidy. We heard about Lori was seen.
Yes, that she was there.
Started. You know what I mean?
No, they do. True. But I'll tell you, I believed the minute it happened that she was the one that sent them over there.
I think so. I think it was her. That's my first thought was her because
I think they've done everything
My
together,
reasoning.
but I do think that you're right in the sense that he's a little bit of a mastermind. It might be in
Yeah.
more trouble because of past
exactly,
things, too.
sweetie.
So,
He's been doing it for decades. He's got another
Yeah.
death on his hands, you guys, and
She
they're
might be
alluding-
seen as a little bit of a victim maybe when this thing is done, but not
that's what they're trying to do.
almost like the way that the Manson girls were. Like, I'm
course,
sorry,
yeah,
you
yeah.
were manipulated, but you're still going to jail
That's
Yeah.
right, for life, and you ain't getting out. We don't give a shit how old or sick you
because
are.
you killed some fucking people.
That's
Yeah.
right. You killed a
Yeah.
pregnant woman.
I
You're
mean,
fucking crazy.
that's so sick.
I know.
You're insane.
But you're right. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think
guys,
that-
I
yeah.
appreciate you guys coming on. I really do. This is
Thank
so
you, girl.
amazing.
Fun. This is great.
We're gonna follow up. We're gonna maybe meet up again and talk about it as it gets a little bit further in.
Yeah,
um,
that'd be great. Let's see
Krystal
what
and
happens. Let's see
Annie.
what our
Krystal's
predictions
awesome.
do.
Yay,
Let's
thank
see.
you.
Let's see. Yeah, let's be
Let's see what
back up
happens.
about this. Was awesome,
I mean, not like
guys.
rah, but I'm just really want these people to get, I want these children and also their father and Tammy,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
not Alex, because Alex is doing too much. So
I
I'm
feel
sorry.
bad, but the
I'm gonna leave
grand-
him out of my
Yeah, but I
justice
also
and-
think that maybe let
I
it be a
don't
lesson to people too when don't ignore the obvious. If there's something that seems like it's off, don't bury your head in the sand.
Yeah.
You don't want to be turning
It's your
people
best
in.
friend who you've known forever.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be turning people in because you don't necessarily agree with their beliefs. But if something
Yeah,
starts,
you can't do
if
that.
something starts
But
getting
maybe
like dangerous,
missing,
Yeah.
are they talking about people are gonna die
yeah,
and by accident, not like they're sick? That's a
Yeah.
warning sign. That's a
Yeah.
red flag.
big
And
time.
you know what? Also, a message is if you're looking for something, if you feel lost, you feel bad,
Yeah.
seek something outside of somewhere that's trying to take something from you. When you
Yeah.
don't already have nothing to give.
Yes.
You don't have nothing to give. You're looking for something to completely you. First of all, you're already whole. Okay. Don't let anybody think that you are missing or you have a gap or you have any. That's the first red flag. You
Yeah.
run right away from that because you're already whole. You might not.
The other thing too
realize it.
is knowing that that your God lives within, and that you can't make somebody a God to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they
can't-
can't tell you what
No.
he has in store for you. That's your message.
You've got to really
You better
follow
find it yourself.
that inner voice. You have to get
It's your
there.
own relationship. It's a private relationship between you and whatever.
Yeah, like
spiritual
don't let
guidance
anybody
you are
tell you
seeking.
that they can control your future or that they're exalted above you. That's not
Right.
healthy. It's
Exactly,
not
Cassidy.
true. And
Yeah.
it's not healthy. And I think, you see a lot of it, especially out in Los
You
Angeles, you see
do.
a lot of it, but you
It's
do.
a lot of it. Like, the older we get, you see how slight manipulation is and how dangerous it is because it could be very, very slight and people just do not even realize.
I know.
And lastly, if someone got a portal, get the fuck out of there. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Listen,
ridiculous.
portal means
Guys,
Bye.
I'm going to go through my portal. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Be well. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye. Bye.